if it's someone that I don't know anything about and it is really a total stranger, it would be rare for me to use what I call the 4-minute story. I use an acronym that a good friend of mine told me a long time ago called FIRE. And again, introverts need these things to help people to what to say. But FIRE stands for family, interests, religion, and evangelism. And so the way it sort of unfolds is, and the reason he told me is, he goes, Steve, he goes, everybody has family. They may love them, they may hate them, but everybody has them. And he goes, everybody has an interest in something, so just listen to it. And then the way you frame up the religious beliefs is just say, do you have any religious beliefs? So you're not threatening anything, you're not bringing anything other up than just generically, you got any religious beliefs? And if they reciprocate and ask me back, do I have any? I stay away from denominations. So I don't say I'm Baptist or I'm Presbyterian or I'm this or that. I'll usually just say I'm Christian. And what I've found is if I said a denomination, it limits the conversation. When I say Christian, it keeps the conversation open. And so I try to do anything I can to keep open lines of communication going so it just doesn't get shut down with a yes-no answer. So once we get by the Christian, just generally the first answer that comes to them, what I try to do is just sort of test what do they believe about God. And what I find, most people have a general revelation of God. So they acknowledge there is a God. They either say creation, I can see it, or they just resonate a feeling that they just know that they're inferior related to something out there that's greater. So they have this good general revelation of God. Just about everyone I've talked to has that. And as part of FIRE, I don't tell them my beliefs. I'm asking them more about what they think. And so this is not for me to evangelize them. It's for me to really get a good feel for what do they believe. And about this point in the conversation, I'm basically prayerfully in my head saying, God, is this something you want me to go further, or is this just time to end the break and go? But if I can see they're engaged and they're like really enjoying a spiritual conversation, then I'll go further with the Jesus thing and just talk about, so when they tell me to them, what does it mean? I'll probe that further, and I'll start to probe sin. And do they feel like they've done anything wrong against this God that they think is up there, and just probe into that more to get into the gospel of just who are we relative to that God, and just see how far they're going. But I'm not telling them the answer. I'm asking them questions to see what they believe about that answer, and just to understand. And then from those kinds of conversations, there's a lot of different outcomes. But sometimes they want to meet more. I had one person just say, I've never been able to have a conversation like this before. He goes, my church just tells me the answer. They don't let me tell what I think. And so we ended up meeting an entire spring and summer every week, just for him to be able to hash out all the things in his mind related to spiritual topics. And so that could be an outcome. Another outcome could be that the person really wants prayer. And another outcome has been, I met with them for discipleship Bible study on a Friday afternoon for 6 weeks. And so you never know where the outcome's going to be, but there's usually a follow-up somehow, even if it's just an email thanking them for, hey, glad to get to know you. That way they know how your name is spelled, so they can actually have a contact point later, or you can shoot them a text sometimes and say, hey, enjoyed break, good to get to know you. If you ever want to talk, just give me a text. And so keeping lines of communication open is always a good idea. And you have to sort of gauge that by the age of the person. Is it a text? Is it an email? Is it a Twitter? And so I'm on Facebook. I'm on a lot of different things based off a lot of different people have a preference of how they want to be communicated with.